Welcome back to the Mid-Season Brawl here for Heroes of the Storm as you join us at the European Union Analysis Desk. Well, for about 2 years more until me and Tetra leave, of course. And you're an honorary member, Trick, so it's okay.
I mean, I traveled here many kilometers. I'm going to stop by the Autobahn later on. We're going to be good to go. It's me great.
Stop by the auto. I don't think you know what it is, do you?
You make it sound like a barn that just has cars in it.
Listen, man, at least I got it, okay? We're in the right mentality, all right? We're good. We're good. Yeah.
It was, yeah, A for effort. All right, well, of course, we have an amazing game coming up, and it's going to be a treat to be here, of course, as we have L5 going up against eStar. eStar at the moment have absolutely outshone all of the expectations that I had of them coming into this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think expectations is something that you always have high for eStar, and they always just fall flat, and we've talked about it over and over again. But for this tournament, they have shown up, and they have been dominant, and they've been creative. I think they've jumped up from this team that people want to watch to, is this the most fun team to watch currently in the tournament? And I think the answer right now is, yeah, they've been very exciting.
I absolutely love the aggression. It's so much fun to just watch also the double support style that they have with Xingzi on Vala in particular, but also his Greymane is fantastic. And for me personally, I'm really not quite sure yet how they are structuring those games sometimes, because you look at them on the first map, they are very focused, and on the second, sometimes you get the feeling that once they judge the level of their opponent, they start to give themselves a little bit more leeway heading into the second map. So I'm not even quite sure if we've seen the strongest incarnation of eStar just yet.
They have actually seemed to have done the same move over the last 2 series they've done at least, where they start off with something a bit wacky and out of the ordinary. Something out of that wacky and out of the ordinary comp gets banned, and then they instantly move into double support with just everything they want because it's been left available because something silly's been banned.
That's right. Wacky is the good word for it. I was almost about to change Trick's hashtag from Trick's Wacky Meta to eStar's Wacky Meta.
No, please, I own that.
You do have a banner for it.
eStar's eccentric meta.
That's definitely a word for it, eccentric.
Eclectic.
As they're in a position now where they are just approaching this. I mean, they're going up against L5, but you cannot doubt what we have seen so far, which is everything and anything. The kitchen sink has been thrown in there.
Yeah, I mean, somehow, some way, they made me slightly believe in the Valera Chromie life, which is something that I would have never, ever believed in. And now I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will run that in quick match once or twice.
Why would you do this to people?
You gotta make plays.
I was gonna say.
Well, Caldoro's gonna be my Valera, so he'll get blamed too. It'd be great. It's perfect.
As long as you do it on the NA.
You're gonna be the Valera, man. You're a Valera, man.
On the NA server, I don't care.
I mean, this was my initial thought. As soon as you mentioned that you were gonna do it, Caldor, I was like, I'm sorry for you, my friend. But there you go.
I might be in that game, but I'm not the Valera.
He's on the other team, getting killed by Chromie.
All right, let's focus on L5 now, of course. They are a previous reigning world champion. They have had bumps along the way here, but still nobody can doubt the fact that they are one of the most skillful teams on the planet right now.
Yeah, they've had some bumps, and I think some folks are asking / questioning their preparation going to the group stages. Are they doing just enough to get by? What's going on with the team overall? But it's still L5. You can't doubt them. They're definitely in a spot here where they can do well against eStar, and plus, eStar is a team that they've scrimmed a couple of times. They know how eStar likes to play.
They also have a lot of pressure on their shoulders, with MVP Black just before them stepping up and putting on a dominant performance. If L5 now lose out to eStar, they're going to look a little bit silly.
I mean, eStar, if they do actually take either a 1-1 or a 3-0 here, would go to either 10 points or 12 points. So they would be solidifying themselves in a very good spot at number 1.
Let's not forget that if L5 takes down eStar with a 2-0 here, then we all of a sudden go into a scenario that could very well end with us having a 3-way tie all the way up at the top.
True.
And that would be interesting.
And that's actually important to note, is that I did check out this, and once tiebreaker situations do occur, which we can play out down tomorrow, it is points only. There is no winner's advantage or anything because it's a best-of-2 format going into this as things continue on. It's all based on points if we do have ties tomorrow coming up. So looking at how these two teams are going to match up against one another, can L5 react to what we've seen from eStar so far? Because what we've seen from eStar so far is everything and anything. It's very difficult for them to say what eStar's going to do. So surely L5 just has to play their own game and hope that that's solid enough.
The safest thing that L5 can do is to play their own game in terms of what they pick, but in terms of bans, they either need to focus down onto X or Xingzi. They need to pick one. Don't spread out your focusing. you need to just try and not choke one of them out, but try and just push them off their favorites a bit.
What do you think about just straight up banning Ariel in this series?
Wouldn't be terrible. Uther can fill in with another support though, and they'd still be good. Uther Tassadar or Malfurion Tassadar, and they'd still get the same effect. They ran Malfurion Tassadar with Illidan yesterday, and it kind of wrecked.
I mean, overall, well, getting into the draft now, game number 1 here between L5 and eStar Gaming as we get onto Dragonshire. What are we thinking, Kaldor?
No, first of all, I think to what you just said, trying to ban out Jing Z by soft banning him with the ban on Oriel, not quite sure if that necessarily works. I think sticking with what they've done so far, focusing the heroes that evolved as meta within the tournament, is still the best. L5, they have the tools, they have the mechanical skill to take down eStar, they just have to believe in themselves. The series that they lost against Dignitas, I think, was, from their perspective, winnable if they don't make the mistakes they made.
Yeah.
Dignitas exploited the mistakes beautifully, but L5 is now, they are not going to, from a Korean mentality, they're looking at this saying like, okay, this can't happen again. So I think they're going to go into this more concentrated than what they showed against Dignitas. I think they're going to believe in their own strength and just play their game and say, we are stronger than eStar.
They are playing their game to a point of completely ignoring any kind of focus banning against the 2 carry players on eStar. Instead, leaving up Valor, Greymane, Illidan, anything these players would want.
That already shows you, on the other hand, that they are saying, hey, we play Dragonshire, and the one thing that L5 for the longest time was also known is that they have also fantastic macro game. They had a great showing in the Korean League, and right now, they just say, we know that you like to play the double support Vala, but we can play around this. And on Dragonshire in particular, having that macro management on the map can really outplay such a combo. But of course, in the beginning, you have to be very careful about especially the 4-man.
And this has actually been very interesting to watch here from the Koreans as they've become more and more on the Anubrak hype train throughout the last couple of days. Dehaka, Anubrak, Malfurion. And it was mentioned, I believe, a couple of series ago by Fam, but now you start looking at the Koreans and you think their top 3 is very European-esque right now. The double warrior into the Malfurion. They've given themselves a great foundation here, but can they handle the pressure and the mechanics of eStar on that Vala and Ariel?
Question for the gentleman next to the 2 gentlemen next to me. What are your thoughts about the Falstad ban over the Dehaka ban?
Personally surprises me a bit. I think one of the things that we've seen, I think it's just that they might be afraid of the Gust here coming in, especially when you're having, for example, an Oriel going in and dropping the ult. If Falstad is really on point with that and gets a quick Gust in there, then you can isolate a target and drop it. That might be part of the thought process. I think Dehaka is extremely strong on the map, so if your only idea would have been to ban out a global, I would have preferred the Dehaka, but I think for Falstad, it's just the utility that he offers.
This is actually what I was thinking about. If they ban out the Falstad, there is some kind of dive coming their way, whether it been a Greymane or maybe even a, not Genji being manned out, but that type of play style. They now have a diva, so now they can move in for the hard aggression play and allow Vala to really just be in their face.
I'll be honest, from the very first picks on either side, I feel like both teams have completely gone absolute separate directions, and I don't think any of the picks are really interfering with either's picks.
Oh, they're just going their own way.
Yes, this is so stylized on either side and going to be a clash of complete styles.
Only surprise pick so far for me. Second surprise pick. Only surprise pick was Zarya, but, because Tassadar makes more sense than the Ariel Valor. But when you think about it, it makes more sense because with this, you're kind of leaving D.Va as the solo tank potentially. So Zarya is a bit more tank filling as opposed to Tassadar, who is more damage or supporty filling.
That Falstad suddenly makes a lot of sense here with the Zagara being picked up there in the 5th slot.
You can telekinesis.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
You can push it away. It's pretty crazy. But Zagara is what we saw in the Eastern Clash. A lot from eStar in particular. And they were very effective with Zagara. To the point at that time where everyone was like, Zagara's done. She's never going to be in the meta. And then eStar comes to the Eastern Clash and it's like, wait a minute. Is Zagara half decent? And now we have Zagara in the mix here. And eStar is looking to bring out all the guns against L5.
It's a counter-global to deal with the Dehaka. Great lane pressure. Again, they've basically just chosen something to mirror it so that they don't have that huge threat because that was their biggest issue, having to run around the map in the late game, as we saw in some of the games yesterday.
And also one of the points is that if you run that Zagara, of course, and you have, for example, a Falstad against you, ganks in general are just a problem when you're playing the Zagara. They ban Falstad, they ban Genji. So they ban 2 of the heroes that excel at going to the top lane, trying to turn it into a quick 2 versus 1 and get the kill there. But the comp here is Definitely interesting. Diva with Zarya. We have seen a few Divas, but that particular setup.
Ooh.
And the Zarya, as you said, you have Diva as your main tank. Zarya helps out with that a little bit. At the same time, Zarya also helps the Vala with the Oriel Zarya combo, so you still get that hyper carry aspect. It's this draft has China written all over it.
I love the Diva pickup here because if Zagara's in the top lane, say a gank comes in, 2 people are in the top lane, Diva just can force an engage right away, not just boost in and force something to happen.
So we're talking about Zagara in the terms of a global. There is a small chance she could go Devouring Maw here, and I want to open up your minds to the Devouring Maw self-destruct. Maybe if we want to go really crazy, the Gravity Bomb coming in from Zarya as the full wombo combo.
That would be an interesting thought. It would hold things in place for a long time.
Yes, and then blow them up very effectively with Diva.
Going with predictions?
I am fully on the eStar hype train. I am going with eStar.
All right.
I believe it.
It's a really weird one, isn't it? I'm looking at it as well, and I'm like, whoa.
I like that the draft, and at this point I'm just saying, okay, all thought goes out the window.
Yeah.
I vote with my heart, and I believe that L5 can pull it off, even though I love eStar's aggression. I say the Koreans take it.
Okay, Trixler, finally you. this single.
Usually I have someone that I just lean to right away.
Yeah.
I think I'm going with L5. The way I look at it here, I think Alarak is just boom. I think Alarak is going to really bring in the telekinesis, get the engages that they want, and if Zagara can be shut down in any way here on
The
Dragonshire,
non-Diva believers, my god.
I normally as well, I have an inkling. I have a very good I've not been giving my predictions during this tournament, but I have a good inkling in this one. As you guys are looking, it is a tough one for sure going
Give us
into
yours
this.
just for funsies.
Yeah, you're not getting out of this one, not after that sentence.
Yeah, who are
you
you predicting?
Give us
if you have to?
funsies.
Well, that's what chat thinks at the moment.
The dodge, look at that, juking.
I'll go with eStar. Let's go over to the casters team and see how this is going to play out, because it's going to be a crazy one. It's L5 going up against eStar.
To call it a crazy one, I think, is an understatement. I am so pumped. I have been so excited for this match since the first match that eStar played of this tournament. I'm so glad to get to bring it to you guys with Dreadnought once again. Let's introduce our teams.
And in the blue, representing Korea, is L5. Nacho Jin playing Dahaka. Noblesse on the Anubarak. Swoi playing Malfurion. Jung Ha on his famous Alarak in SCSE playing Greymane.
Jung Ha's Alarak is my favorite Alarak in the entire world. But up against that, from China, eStar Gaming with Xingxi playing Vala, SW on Ariel, X, Savage playing Diva, Tiger playing Zarya, and finally H, Lucian playing Zagara. That is a hefty role swap, putting Lucian, who is the primary warrior, on Zagara.
All right, so already out of the gates, we see the lightning, extended lightning for Alarak at level 1 for Jung Ha. Already, we have the Dahaka, so we can assume typically a 1-4, but just as a general rule, if we see this talent out of Alarak, I think most of the time it's leading to a heavy focus on complementing the four-man, getting the poke, and because you can stack one after another very easily whenever you're in a four-man, but never when you're in those solos.
Right, and yeah, it's impossible because you're just the 1v1 and you gotta hit heroes in the center of it, but also looking at the try cast to be able to finish out the quest quickly and be able to get the sadism back once you get to that third tier. And then potentially looking at Chaos Reigns too. It's going to be important that Alarak can hang where there's going to be a lot of heroes. eStar may abuse that with some different laning setups. We'll have to see.
Yeah, right now eStar, they have the pressure out with the Zagara up into the matchup of Dahaka, which is different than it was in the past, mainly because the rework on the level 1, but the Anubarak going over the wall. Noblesse, he actually get the knockup. If that knockup hits, that is a full combo from Jung Ha, a drag right after, and a dead bug. So good job there for eStar, but I mean, let's be honest here, that was a lot on to Noblesse there. Just completely missed cooldown. On those sidewalls, there's only one way to escape, and there was no juke attempt.
And now, Lucian has a warning. Lucian knows that this is going to be a possibility all game. So even though L5 didn't actually get the kill there, it at least should be a warning shot. Do not step far out in this lane, because at any point, we can collapse on you and kill you.
Yeah, it's going to be able to force the respect there. Good job from Tiger, getting out the shield before Jung Ha ends up landing his first combo. And a bit of a rebuttal coming back from the Holy Trinity in the bottom lane here. D.Va does not match up to what we've seen so far in the wave clear of L5, but the tri-lane here on bottom, the solo of the Zagara into the Dahaka matchup, so far eStar is just dominating the relevant lanes of Dragonshire. Look at that. Dahaka, we gotta remember, he's a different hero than he was when we originally saw these matchups.
Yes.
He doesn't have the same features.
Right, and now there's Roots catching, so Tiger will be the first takedown of this game. Boosters firing in. Savage trying to get the counter. They do.
Savage with that counter. My goodness, dropping the defense matrix. Can't tell if that was BM or not.
Could
But
have been a little BM. Instead of
call-
the B step, you've got the nice defense matrix. Like, this area will do no damage.
yeah, you saw Lucian there for a moment. He thought he might be able to go blow for blow, hold the spots to be able to ensure a Dragonite, but with no members on mid, he is going to have to retreat. He's already got that one turret drained, and the pressure he has against that Dahaka, this is going to, it's not that impactful right now, but if eStar keeps doing what they're doing at the same rate, that Zagara is quickly going to become a problem as we reach level 10.
Yes, and remember that eStar is one of the teams that puts more focus into the top lane of Dragonshire than
Yeah.
other teams.
So much so that they commit Dragonites
Yeah.
to them, which is unheard of depending on which region of the world you are from. But I love what they're doing with the laning setup here. You know, China has always had some of the most creative innovative strategies just flat out in the world. I mean, I would argue half of the compositions that are played in the grand finals of a world championship was created by them. And I think the Zagara implementation and what they've been able to make happen is no exception, and they can even hold up here against L5.
And good grief, we have talked so much about many aspects of this draft, but we have not yet even talked about the fact that we've got Xingxi playing his Vala with the Ariel support and Zarya along with him. So look for him to be especially devastating. We saw just flat hanging out in the middle of opponent's base yesterday.
The combo going to miss there. That is not something that we can see out of L5. They need to be able to hit that. Committing to the Alarak, his main selling point, he is better than he's ever been, but his main selling point really is going to be the fact that he has the lethality, he has that kill potential here in the laning phase even, or at least apply pressure to the Holy Trinity, but he needs to synergize with Swoi, with the entangling roots. Otherwise, it could be a rough game. And right now, eStar, they haven't gotten the objective, but they're in full control of this match. They are absolutely dictating every movement of L5.
The hard thing for Jung Ha is, I want to emphasize, he is a fantastic Alarak. He's been playing Alarak since before the rework. The problem is there's so much mobility on eStar's side, it's hard to hit those combos between Speed Barrier and Xingxi, who constantly keeps his stacks up with Hot Pursuit. There's just so much mobility. It is way more difficult for Jung Ha to actually hit those combos. Should be able to hit this one, uses Lightning Surge to stall out Savage from getting the Dragon Knight for now.
There's no way Savage should be able to get this just purely based on the bugs alone. As long as he can draw the aggro, he doesn't go for it. They are committed to the kill, overkilling Savage, but he goes ahead, gives them the punch, says, nah, I got the peel for my bro here, and now eStar finds themselves the first Dragonite of this game.
They're slightly ahead in experience and about to get more so as they start to burn down these structures in the mid, taking out the wall, the towers, opening up the forts for future pushes. Also, the two-man doing very well in the bottom, bringing down the second tower there too, and can take out the small wall, so hopefully they start working on that well, so L5's ability to reinitiate in this bottom lane becomes less.
And so I've been watching only the top lane on my personal computer in this game to try and give you guys an update of what this Zagara matchup into the new Dahaka, because it's been, like I said, it's a different version of a matchup. Lucian is straight ruining Nacho Jin. He has a hard time staying in the same lane as him. Constant rotation and attention is needed from L5, and that is why this tri-lane, and not even counting the fact that we see Xing Shen on one of his best heroes, considered one of the best range assassins in the world, but that Zag is prepping this pressure so well.
There's a nice combo that hits. Roots trying to zone, but Speed Shield's
Strafe.
there, and so is Strafe. eStar is ready to party, throwing out the fireworks. Detainment Strike knocks away any of the members. Is forfeit.
I am so excited that we got ourselves a bunny hop. I have been amazed at how much big shot we have had in this tournament. Personally, I adore the bunny hop, the utility that it can provide here for this team. So we got to keep track of Savage with that new heroic, because we have not seen that yet, period. There has not been a competitive bunny hop game that we've gotten here. Did we?
I think we had one
Did
in
I
this
miss
tournament.
it? Rip. Sad day. I
But
got
still,
excited.
I'm pumped to see it too, because Big Shot has been the favorite so far, and that's because you can tell there's a lot of fear of not having your mech, right? You want to make sure that you have big shots to keep your mech up. But this shows full confidence that we have Bunny Hop here, and you're going to be able to pair that up with the damage of Xing Chen. Once a strafe comes out, you have Bunny Hop to keep everyone in it.
And we already see when it comes to the heroic choices on the side of L5, go for the throat was selected. So very little interest in getting the pressure onto the front line behind the Zarya, behind the D.Va itself. They want to look towards that Zag, towards Xing Chen there onto the Vala. That is what L5 wants to do in these team fights, and to be honest, I don't know if they're going to be given it as easily as they want though, but it's going to start with this Cocoon onto Lucian.
Giant Cocoon here hitting Zagara. Trying to push the wave if they can with it, but now the roots come out, dive on top with a new Barak, drag just to make sure, even telekinesis. There's no way Zag gets out of that one, Tread.
Legitimately could not have embodied a hands-off worse. He had 6 seconds, he couldn't control his here, just, nope, that's it, boys, no counterplay here. And now another kill for L5. But it was a lot of cooldowns. You know, it's one of those things where it is nice, and it didn't cost too much in the world of resources, but I wouldn't say it's a momentum swing by any means here. Just a little bit of an overextension coming out from Lucian. So let's see, now that we have the secondary Dragon Knight phase and a momentum swing for Nacho Jin and the rest of L5, let's see what they can make happen with it.
L5, in being able to push that wave as well as get the kill of Zagara, is going to give a lot of time for Dahaka to escort the bruisers there in the top lane and try to get some structures down. At the very least, get them caught up in experience. They're really close, actually. They're basically there. So any just ability to take down towers and limit the escape of Zagara. But it looks like the collapse is maybe starting for L5.
They have vision of Zag, so L5 should be looking to make this fight happen here. They have now posturing and control on the bottom altar. This is a big window for L5. They're going to go in. They try and make it happen, but Savage just throws on the thrusters, moves on out. Good drag coming out from Nacho Jin. Swoi with the follow-up that drops the self-destruct, but they end up killing D.Va with go for the throat.
There's a few seconds before she can be able to call her new mecha after she went to self-destruct, and L5 were quick to take him out. Twilight Dream 2 is a second kill. 2 kills for L5 in this fight.
eStar blatantly chose that fate. I mean, there's no way around it. Zag has been top Lucian the entire time. AFK split pushing towards top. So I'm not even going to claim whether or not I think that's the best or not, because obviously eStar is one of the best Chinese teams in the world, and the Zag creators really to a certain extent. But either way, eStar was comfortable taking that. So let's see what works for him, or if that even ends up paying off.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe if there wasn't a very close Nidus worm for them to be able to fight, or they just wanted to try to draw the ire of L5 for a long time while Zag pushed up in the top. But either way, things are starting to fall apart for eStar. They lose their Zag and then Xing Chen.
Actually, that telekinesis pushed just the perfect distance out of Ariel's heal. He would have survived if it was not for that telekinesis. So very well done there, getting the damage output. And now L5 find themselves a Dragon Knight. They're 5-1 in those kills. And now they need to open up the map to finally control the rotations of eStar.
Dragon Knight wailing away on the base of eStar, taking down the wall in the mid. A level lead now for L5 with the picks they've finally been able to get. And it's such a nice feeling to be able to stop Zagara. She is so momentum-based. Once she gets her creep going, her Nidus worms too, pushing her back, getting that kill was huge.
Talking about, you know, Zagara momentum, she's also now at the 75,000 siege damage mark. She took Infest at level 1. We know that scaling can increase past the 100,000 threshold. We'll keep track of it, but that is relevant, because though we don't often talk about that power spike, it is something that, especially with lack of wave clear compositions that exist on the side of L5, can become game winning. You know, if she gets that scaling, if she gets those damage output. So we'll keep track of that here for you guys. But L5, with their experience, they are in control of the game. But again, they're not opening a single structure. They get a Dragon Knight, and look at this. This is the wave clear, the siege potential. This is the problem, if you will, with this current meta we see in this tournament, is it doesn't have the normal pressure onto objectives.
Yeah, L5 will have to continue to get the picks with their isolation, be able to pull someone out with Alarak, drags with Dahaka, and then their Cocoon possibilities to getting enough picks to be able to just push down with long respawn timers now that we're getting into the later game. Looking at Alarak, Extended Lightning, done. It is over with. Chaos Reigns. I believe it's just the tri-cast that we're waiting on, hitting 3 heroes, the single cast. So hoping that eStar groups up a little bit in this late game. eStar hoping, of course, that they can get their 16.
Yeah, they are going to be really going to want that in their hands. And the Merc pressure out for L5 is important just because, again, they don't have that control on their own. They don't have that siege on their own. So anytime they can pick them up and do something with them, which surprisingly is really what L5's known for, especially on maps like Sky. They innovated that strat. Look, they just capture the camp, they 3-man cycle through mid, let bottom end up dying flat out, and they gain nothing out of the circumstances. Again, L5 looking lost till they find that burrow. Xingshen! He survives thanks to the Tainment Strike. The explosion zone, everything here, but Tiger has found himself in a bad spot.
And speed barrier 2 helps Xingshen, but it won't be enough. It's not able to be there for Zarya. We've got the self-destruct trying to zone away L5. There's one that maybe gets caught with the Tainment Strike, but Noblesse just barely gets away.
eStar has Zag split pushing though the entire time. There comes out the bunny hop, getting the slow on to Nacho Jin. Adaptation's too late, SCSC's too low. Can Savage get that? Twilight Dream's coming out, but Savage is so healthy, he doesn't care. Puts the thrusters on, and good night, Swoy.
2 kills to 1 in this fight.
And as we see in her natural habitat, Zagara wreaking havoc in the top lane.
The fort is gone in the top. SCSC would love to chase down, but Lucian has quite a bit of health. eStar take her out.
The mobility of the creep isn't enough to get away because he's There it is, the peel coming out from Savage downtown. He's zooping and booping, baby. That was beautiful.
Coming through, says Savage. Pushing everyone back, saving Lucian, and taking the top
That was
shrine.
like a clip out of the cinematic. You know, Genji gets pinned against the wall, and she's like, boom, comes and saves the day.
Da-na-na-na-na, play of the game. Savage and Dragon Knight for eStar.
They get the Dragon Knight, and they can get the map open. They have Zag. She's broken the 100,000 threshold. They have the camp up on bottom. All the forts are going to be down. I mean, right now, eStar, not only do they have what would be considered naturally a better Dragonshire comp because of the wave clear, because of the control that they have, but now they've got the map open to be so controlling and oppressive. Dragonshire, the vision that they're going to have, L5 is essentially going to hit a breaking point where they go, there's one fight we know we can get, and we cannot lose it.
Look how oppressive eStar are now with the bruisers that they got in the bottom lane and the Dragon Knight. A beautiful rotation from eStar as they hope to take down the first keep of the game. Dragon Knight's getting fairly low. Savage got really low and does not want to lose this back before he finds the right place to self-destruct.
Self-destruct is going to be dropped to peel off the cocoon, but Nacho Jin gets the drag on to Xingshen. He can't go down. Ariel makes it out in time. The peel is there. Now Savage eats a combo from Alarek. The keep not down yet for Tiger, but the peel is there. Zag is split pushing again. eStar just wants to buy time and is going to start with that bunny hop.
They're buying time for the Dragon Knight to take down that keep, and they have done so admirably. Nobody is down. Tiger is a willing sacrifice for the rest of the team, and they may just try to keep going for this fight. Savage almost has self-destruct.
They just want to buy time. Aegis is available. The Twilight Dream ends up going up, and nobody dies. Nacho Jin stuck into the background. I mean, my goodness, Gilly, is this a double keep play?
They've been doing this for man the whole time. Look at Zagara in the top lane
respect. No respect. The kill on Lucian's there. Now, eStar cannot do this, but they are going to go and try and make it happen. 4 versus 4. Shielding down, 90 and counting. This is Xingshen right now. We're talking about on that Bala. He may have the micro to win this game.
They've got the 20, that's for sure. eStar still trying to make this happen. We're at 75% on the core and falling. Self-destruct to zone away.
How much is that on core? That's a lot of damage. 10% already there. Now look at the auto attack. Savage, they gets the... Oh, he's coming back.
25.
Diva, Savage has got the auto attacks.
We've got the strafe still going in the back, but it's all about Savage on the core right now. Juggernaut trying to bring him down. We're at 20%, and Volley goes down. L5 just might have saved the day here as they take out Diva.
They have saved the core for now, but no mule available. No way to restore the HP, and 2 keeps are down. SW only stalling the inevitable. Debatably not even worth it because the staggered death. Look at, I mean, if I'm L5, I don't kill him. Look at, yeah, there we go. He should have ran into the core long ago. So now, look at it. Zag came back from the battle that we experienced, but the difference here between Diva and the Ariel, minimum 10-second gap. L5 should try to capitalize here. They need desperately to, because they haven't even gotten a fort, Gilly.
They're going to get every mercenary camp they possibly can, heading over and getting a quad giant push on bottom. They can get shrines then too, get the Dragon Knight, but you're right, Dread. There's no forts down in eStar.
This is the beginning of what could be a nice comeback. They need to stagger deaths left and right. The roots All right, so now Zag, because here's the problem. Lucian was, not only was that a staggered death, that was the exact target you need to. Who's the one who can go backdoor with D.Va to end the game? Exactly. They did what they needed. L5 is holding on somehow.
They've got every lane pushed so they can just focus on this Dragon Knight. They need to do so much in this moment before everyone is back up. No Zagara now for 40 seconds. Ariel is finally about to be online for eStar. Can they hold?
I don't know. Combo one. It ends up landing to get the pick. That is Vola down. Jing Chen is dead for 60 more seconds. Zag is going to be back in 25, but L5 has a minute of breathing room, and I don't think they're going to let go Gilly. I think they want to end this game because Zag could go for the back door in 15.
Quickest route is the shortest one, and that is what they've taken through the mid.
Get the pick.
They take down Zarya too. Bunny hop on top.
They end up doing it.
They are going to do it. L5 have held their core at 20% and will bring down the core of eStar. Coming back in a miracle game on Dragonshire are L5.
L5. First against Team Dignitas, they experienced a huge lead and just got it all rebutted due to the staggered death. It seems like they took a notebook out of that game. What did Dig do? Isolating with the cocoon, find the pick you need, get the objective, and make sure that's the one that seals the deal. So well done from L5, the mentality to hold on, because for me, and I think a lot of fans out there, the biggest thing that is holding L5 back is that mentality. To see that from them means so much more for their future here at the Mid-Season Brawl.
That changes a lot of the momentum for this series. L5 having that difficult loss versus Team Dignitas, but eStar seemingly to have everything going their way now. We get to see in the next game who that affected more, right? Is it L5 or eStar? But before that, let's head back to the Anos panel and see what they thought of that amazing game.
I feel like I just got pickpocketed. That was insane. I can't believe. eStar played a blinder of a game for God knows how much of that. And then all of a sudden, the turnaround from L5. What a game.
I never doubted them for a second.
I'm not gonna lie, I had my doubts. That D.Va play was actually spectacular. I feel like there was moments where we didn't quite get the bunny hop where we wanted it to occur, but once it started getting into the rotation, eStar was just getting so dominant in their 4v5s. It was actually very impressive.
Zagara.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turning from a 1v3 and killing Greymane. That was crazy with the serrated spines. Is that what that sounds called? The
I
stacking
popped
one?
for that. That was crazy.
How many times did we see L5 go into a 5 versus 4 fight with the Dehaka going bot lane, not winning the fight, and then Zagara was time to shine?
It was actually insane stuff. And then Zarya surviving at the bottom lane when the keep had been down for ages, and then somehow the recovery turnaround from eStar. I don't know what happened in that game. I think I blacked out for about 20 minutes. I don't know.
It was actually, the core defense was something that I actually wanted to look at and see if we can get an idea of what exactly happened there the entire time. Because originally, I was actually excited for an eStar replay because eStar was playing the D.Va so darn well. So let's actually check out eStar here first. Let's go ahead and jump straight on in. Can we go ahead and get a pause? Look at this. This is currently a 4-on-3 that's happening down here in the bottom right. Look over here on the right on the minimap. We have D.Va floating around the middle because she was soaking the lane. We also have Dehaka here in the top left corner. Now watch as D.Va will use her Nitrous to run down to the team to make sure to help out after Star hits an amazing detainment strike up here to the top right. So let's go ahead and watch that as it unfolds and make sure to keep his teammate alive. So Telekinesis comes out to grab Tiger. You're going to see the Cocoon come out immediately. X comes in to help out. And remember, this is now a 3v5. This is a fight that technically should be lost no matter what. Let's go ahead and pause real quick. Look at this. This is a wonderful... Oh, I can't use 2 fingers. I can only use 1 finger here. This is a wonderful zoning tool that has been used by D.Va. D.Va immediately, because she died earlier to Greymane, runs to the bottom right. She has to be in a safety so she can use this nuke as some type of zoning tool. So we're going to go ahead and play this out. Watch as Ariel and Vola retreat back. Noblesse goes in, and he's kind of in this weird scenario where I either have to get a kill or I have to run away. Everyone's been zoned out. This is now a 3v5 where Detainment Strike comes in, hits the Anubek, he gets low on health. Savage. Well, I'm going to jump into D.Va and charge forward and jump on Nitrogen, who they start burning down. They're going to get the bunny hop to slow him down. SC comes in to help out, but he gets caught in the bunny hop, peeling 2 members. This is a 3v5 that eStar suddenly wins because of that engage in the D.Va play and the zoning to potentially work out in the front. Meanwhile, top lane, your girl Zagara pushing in hard.
Yeah, absolutely. It was bemusing to watch that fight, that series, that game as a whole. I think overall, X gonna give it to you. He was doing well on the Diva.
Multiple health bars, kind of good.
Not too bad at all. And L5 still takes the win.
Yeah.
They get that one opportunity, because if they don't finish it there, surely Zagara just keeps split pushing.
Yeah.
Everyone's alive,
Yeah.
and they eventually win out that game.
Yeah, just crazy map knowledge, knowing where Zagara would be, finding her, able to isolate
Yeah.
it with the cocoon, getting the blow up, and then of course catching Valor straight afterwards while pushing in with the Dragon Knight. Everything just went right very quickly for L5, and they capitalized on it and took the game.
Secured themselves 1 point. We're going to be going to Infernal Shrines next between these two teams. At this point, after looking at the first draft and looking at all of eStar's drafts, I have